Hello, and welcome to Ranch Roleplay Podcast, episode number 8. My name is Youth Gaming. I play a little red-haired Mayor Valentine named Rainier Valgov, who's also now the owner of the Pete's Crab Shack down in Blackwater. I would normally introduce my 99% of the brains behind the podcast, which is Dip, but Dip is unfortunately not able to be here today because of IRL stuff. So I'll be the one introducing why we have the podcast. The reason why we have the podcast is we want to create transparency all the way from management all the way down to the newest player who just joined. And we talk about everything here. Anyone is welcome to come on here. And today, as you can see, my new trusty sidekick, I'm putting that way, is none other than...
Hi, it's me, Benny. A lot of you have known me several times in different forms. As Isaac Huckabee, as Emmett Sawyer, as Cooper Cassidy, and a various smattering of other characters here and there. And I'm also the head of LFM, along with Bird, and we kind of run that little show over there. Been here on Ranch now for over a year. Super excited to be co-hosting the podcast, and talking to this wonderful gentleman over here, who I will now gesture to let him introduce himself.
Hey everybody, I'm Donovan Ellery. I play the mean fat old man Donovan Ellery. I also play Frank Cortland, which is former town marshal of Armadillo and a lawman in New Hanover Sheriff's Office right now.
All right, cool. But the main point here, we're talking about the government. Everybody meet the governor. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. What the hell is it like? What? So you started out as a long time before I was even on the server. You were a judge on the server, along with Longstreet.
Yeah. So there was this individual named Judge Richter on the server, and an individual named Richard Steele. And I got into the server, and I was like, okay, I'm going to design this character. This is what I want to do. I want to be involved in like the judiciary. And the Judge Richter and Steele hired me in to be a judge. And then Richter went inactive and left the community or relocated, or however that all works. And I was briefly made Chief Justice the first time.
Oh, really?
Longstreet, yeah. So Longstreet and me and Richard Steele were kind of the three amigos. Most of those guys did most of the work. I mean, I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But we got a little bit of a government set up and a little bit of a judiciary, and wrote a constitution and all that. And then I went inactive. And I came back in about May of this year. And when I came back in May, I was just a fat, mean old man in Valentine.
I remember that. You sit there. You were nice.
Right.
Nice.
And then I met Rainier, and we had people like Sloan and Jeb Nightingale, and we had Del Monte and all the New Hanover people that was there. I think Bradshaw was the sheriff at the time. And Rainier was having one of his little town meetings. I think his first town meeting.
Very first town meeting. We invited you because I thought it'd just be great to have someone, with knowledge about how law and shit like that works,
Right. And then so went to that meeting, kind of sat in, offered my opinion when I was asked for it, and somehow I got back in the judiciary. I don't really remember how it all happened. Who really hired me the second go around. But I worked my way up and became Chief Justice in a month or two. And I played that role for a long time.
Yes, you did. And now look at you. You're the governor. You're the governor. So like I remember we had Favish Schimmel, right? We actually had an in-game voting thing where you could like walk down to the telegram station, or when you logged in. Was it when you logged in? The very first time you logged in, there's like a way to vote. And then when you logged in, when you logged in, you could vote for the people. And I voted for Favish Schimmel. He won it. He had it for like a week, and then he left the server, I think. And then his lieutenant governor took over as the governor, Felix Whitaker, and he had it for a little bit of time, and then he left the server as well. And now we're here with you. What's different with you? All right, tell me what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for us?
Well,
are you gonna stay?
I guess,
First of all, you gonna stay?
I guess that's what I'm trying to. I guess the first thing is I'm gonna try to stay for longer than a week or two.
Okay, I'm going to try to stay.
Right,
that's the first hurdle. Low bar, really.
Right. Hey, you got to set that bar low, make yourself look good. But no, that's what I plan to do is stay. We're hopefully going to get an actual working government set up on the server. That's the goal. We want the community to be involved in it. We want there to be interaction from the furthest portions of New Austin all the way to Saint Denis and up to Annisburg, and the people that live in the Coulter Ranch and the camp out on the Coulter Mountain. We want all of these individuals, whether you're criminal, civilian, law, whatever, we want them to be involved in the government and the laws that we have on the server, the way the finances work in character, the economy. We want all these people to come together to kind of build this thing. So that's what I'm really trying to achieve. I have a lot of really good people, really talented individuals that are helping me, not least of which are Benny right here and Bird. But that's the goal. That's really the goal with it.
All right. So what are some of the things that you're going to implement as with the government? So as I think we already spoke about this a little bit. Some of the fancy words, cabinet, like all these fancy words that I don't know what parliament, like I don't even know if I'm saying the right words here, man. But like what
right? Yeah. So we're hopeful that we're going to be. So first we've got a cabinet. There'll be some posters that come out later today that'll confirm the individuals that most of you already know are going to be in that cabinet. And for instance, we have Attorney General Ford Love.
What is a cabinet? Though?
So a cabinet is going to be the essentially the governor's appointed individuals. They serve in the executive cabinet and they're responsible for different areas of role play. So, for instance, the Attorney General is a member of the cabinet. He's the chief law enforcement officer.
Okay.
It's like Huckabee was, where they kind of set the standards on how we want to move forward with things in character and how we want to see the different departments work. They put forward mandates, training standards. They serve as the state's chief prosecutor for any cases that might come up or anything like that. So that's what the Attorney General does. I have a Secretary of Health, which is going to be Bella Fisher. Chi, most of you know her as Chi.
Yeah, Mima Chi.
Just a phenomenal individual, really talented role player, dedicated, really, really dedicated person. She's going to be the one that heads kind of the medical side of things. She has a lot of really good connections and a lot of trust that she's built up within the medical role play side of things. Where she's going to be able to work with the medical board and the established doctors and nurses throughout the community to make medical role play something that we can all be a little bit prouder of. I have Evangeline Calloway that's going to serve as my Secretary of Revenue and Labor. Which
I see Benny.
Yeah. Most of you know Evie. She's a talented role player. She's an extremely genuine person.
Very British.
We're hopeful.
Very British.
Yep, very very British. Very British. Very well dressed too. She would
very
get
well
on to me if I
spoken.
didn't say that. But we're hopeful that we'll be able to create some cool stuff with like the mining unions and transport companies within the community. There are a number of people that have been up in Annisburg that have started mining groups. Whether they're criminal or civilian, that's not the point, but they are mining groups. We have people that are trying to get transport companies off the ground, whether it be trains or, stagecoaches, whatever. We're looking forward to working with Evie and Dottie and building up that role play. Hopefully creating a little bit more civilian jobs and role play throughout the community.
I gotta ask you.
Finally,
sorry.
Go ahead. No.
You go.
So finally, we have Richard Steele making a return as our state treasurer. Kind of a controversial figure. Yep, kind of a controversial figure, but he's a really dedicated individual, knows a lot about government, really gives it his all. And we're
He was
hopeful that
what was his previous position? Because I remember he's
I
in the
believe he
ranch
was a lieutenant.
trivia.
He was lieutenant governor when I came
Lieutenant
here at
governor.
Huck.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's lieutenant governor, the first lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. So what we're trying to do with that position is we're actually trying to get the government to have a working budget. So for the longest time, what's happened is that admins have had to spawn in money left,
Yep.
right, and center,
Mhm.
and it makes people like Shali and Oaks and everyone just crazy. They hate that. The economy team hates that. What we're hoping to establish is an actual working budget.
Yeah.
Get some good money going. Get some good schemes going to where the government can make money. To where we can pay for cool things like Christmas parties for the community and harvest festivals and 4th of July events and just put on a good show
When it comes to
for
that,
everyone.
can we this is just from the top of my head. Like I saw the other day, right? Not the other day. Today actually, I was in game, right? And I speak to deputy down in Blackwater, right? And the Blackwater deputy is telling me that because I haven't built the crab shack yet, he says if you need anyone to help you build the crab shack, we got people we put in that they used to serve community service, right? I said to them. This was just an idea. I don't know what it looks like from your guys' point of view. I said, let him go fish for chain pickerel. I'll buy him from the sheriff's department, right? Let's say I buy him for 75 cents per chain pickerel, and then you guys just get to keep that money, and you can use that as a budget for. I mean, in my opinion, that will incentivize more role-playing activities for community service, and it'll put money from player to player and not spawning it in.
Oh, 1000% agree with you. What we're working with, me and Ford Love and the cabinet in general, we're going to be working on, in conjunction with LFM, of course, rehabilitation and complete sentencing restructure within the community. And we're going to be going at it from an IC standpoint. A lot of the times, what we have right now is individuals commit a crime, law enforcement get a hold of them, and then for whatever reason, the criminal gets sentenced off to Sisika for however much time they have. And I'm certainly not going to badmouth Sisika. I love. I have a character in Saint Denis Police Department, which is a new thing that we've got going, which now takes care of Sisika. So I'm very supportive of Sisika. But right now, I think it's kind of an RP prison. You know what I mean? Where we have individuals, they're sent there and they kind of just stand there and look at a wall, especially if there's no guards on. It's like an RP timeout. Yep. So what I want to see is individuals serving their time locally as much as possible. I want to see people that are able to help out with projects like Rainier's new crab shack and building up the town, sweeping the porches, building new buildings, helping out with the theaters or whatever,
and
helping. Yeah.
That's where that community building comes from. And that's, one of the things that I always have admired about a government and the governor's cabinet is that it's one of those forms of role play that's very niche and it's very, you have to find the kind of right people to kind of go into those places. But it's one of those things that it's very good for community building. And then, like you said, it's also very good for economy building. Anybody who runs a state government or has their hands in any kind of state budget will probably tell you that you more often spend money than you make money. And that, it's kind of a requirement to, but again, if you get the ability to have these kind of harvest festivals and Christmas markets and things like that, you go to these businesses and go, hey, the government's going to pay you a $250 stipend to, make a whole bunch of food and come in and put your stand up and it becomes this whole thing that everyone's involved in. It opens up a lot of civilian role play by having those little places and those cabinet members in place and just access to those little channels and people in place that are imaginative in those ways. So it's the thing that I always admire about people who have to then play like governor and things like that is it's not so much that you have to run the whole show, it's that you have to find the right people. And so you have to get really good at kind of like seeing how people role play and analyzing that and figuring out who fits where. And that's the thing that I think is really like to me, I don't know if that's how I see it, like view what the governor role is at its central, is like finding the right people. But I'm kind of curious, how do you like manage that in between everything else you're kind of talking about? How do you find the right people?
Well, I think that I have a good group of people that I surround myself with, and being in the server since May, I've been able to communicate with a lot of different people, whether it's criminals or law-abiding citizens or lawmen. I'm able to communicate with a lot of different individuals, and my thing is I've always wanted to give people a chance. New role players have the same chance as old role players. I suppose I find people by I don't know. I just hope that the people that I surround myself with and the people that I've been role playing with, and the people that I hope to role play with in the future are individuals that will do some good for the community. I don't really have like a method to the madness.
Player,
right? I mean? Yeah, like I'm in the server almost every day.
Time. Yeah, and you're everywhere.
Right. I try to pick people that are going to be active, people that are at least somewhat well known, and I try to pick individuals that have some sort of like they're dedicated. They don't care so much about rank and power and privilege and authority as they care about like this is our responsibility. It's not a privilege so much as a responsibility. We have to make. I view it as we have to make this government work. We have to make this work. And the people that I guess I've just been very lucky. I have people like yourself, and not to ask Kiss, but I do. I have people like yourself. I have people like Rainier that I role play with on a regular basis in game. That have been able to help me. Yeah, we are good friends. Yep.
Checks in the mail. So
best friends.
All right, I appreciate it.
Christmas is coming up. I get it.
But no, I just have been lucky. I've been really lucky to have a wonderful group of people that have accepted me and have allowed me to play with them. Whether that's Chi or the Nightingales, or whether it's Bird and the Marshal Service with Sam Devlin and Knox. I just people that have really come through. Shoot Glass and Harvey Glass. Even to the criminals, you have individuals that are
your arch
that are arch nemesis. You have people like Javier and Frank Campbell. Donovan hates Frank Campbell, but like
I mean, he shot you in the head, so
he did. But I earned that one. I did. Yeah. But what it is it's just I've been extremely lucky to be surrounded by really genuinely good people. So I give them all the credit on that.
I also want to throw out here, and because I'm reading in the chat as you're saying these things, and someone put on here that they said government grind since October last year finally come to fruition. And that is an absolute truth, that this has been like the government trying to get this up and running has kind of happened and changed hands and ideas, and so many things have been drafted to get to this point. And it's very interesting because you are probably the first for me that I've been like able to stand back and go, he's going to be okay. He's going to get it figured out. And I think there's a lot of, like I had a lot of hope for Favish and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. And I think there was even some doubt going into that, but you've been probably the first kind of person that's kind of stepped up to this role and sort of, challenged it. That's, I think, kind of risen up to that and has sort of set a good standard for what it works and for how it works. And it's it's like you said, it's being surrounded by good people, but it's also in yourself being a good leader and a good role player. And I think that that very much showcases in the way that you've set things up and structured it.
I certainly appreciate that. I'm hopeful that I'm not here to cast stones or anything like that. Whatever happened in the previous iterations, it was unfortunate, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to work with the team that I have and build on the team that I have. and we'll be able to draw up something pretty cool. I want the government to be seen as something that works for everyone. I don't want it to be just like that's just a legal faction. It's against all. It's against all the criminal players. Like, that's not what this is about. This is about an organization and a faction that kind of stands as a pillar to support everything else around it. Yeah, man, I have a lot of good people that I work with. The LFM team is working really, really friggin' hard, and they've been a real help to me. My cabinet's outstanding, and there's some pretty cool stuff in the works.
All right. I got a question for you. So one thing I've noticed, right, and this also like in real life, but especially in RP, right, when people get into power position or powerful positions, right, some people it goes through their head. They can't really control it. They can't really control that they're in a powerful position now. How do you keep yourself in check as like every day, because you're technically in the most powerful position there is on the server? You know what I mean? Like, you're literal governor. You run the whole thing. How do you like to me it's just a natural thing, you know? Like, you don't just don't abuse your power. But, you know, what do you tell yourself? Do you also just go, yeah, I just don't fucking do it, or
Well, so I think that I'm human, and I think that there has been times where I have probably overstepped the mark or done things that I wish I would have done differently. There's been things that I've done in character that I wish that just it didn't end the way I wanted it to. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. But I try to remember that, you know, as cheesy as it sounds, in the end of the day, this isn't something that that's for me. Like, this is something that I'm hopeful that I'll be able to establish for the community in general. And in order to do that, you kind of have to swallow your pride a little bit. You have to be like, all right,
100%.
well, this isn't about me. This is about getting it sorted out for the next group of people that kind of want to take over, whether that's, you know, maybe Frank Campbell will be the next governor. I don't know, but, you know, whoever it is, the goal is to get it set up so that it works for the remainder of the life of the server.
I like that.
And there's really no room for your personal pride and your hubris or whatever in that.
Yeah, that's because I remember we were talking about that in the early days, that we were talking about like behind the scenes, what about corruption and shit like that for a governor. That's back in the Favis Schimmel before he became the governor, and the talks were then that the first governor cannot be corrupt, not even a slight bit, because we need to establish the fundamentals of a government, and then the next governor after that can probably go ahead and fuck it all up, you know, but at least we've established something that works and is right. And then the next governor that comes in is corrupt. All right, cool. But we've already made this thing work. So I like what you're saying there. You know what I mean? I like that you're doing this for everyone. You know, to
I certainly try. I mean,
yeah.
I slip up every now and then. Yeah, I slip up every now and then. Sometimes the power feels good. I mean, you know, knowing things before they happen, or being in the know in character, that feels great. I enjoy that. But at the end of the day, that's not going to last forever. So I just have to constantly try to remind myself that eventually somebody else is going to sit in this chair, and I hope that I've at least laid some foundation for them.
Yeah. So what's the? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just going to say that's a big thing that I preach to a lot of people with roleplay, is that you have to kind of be ready that, you know, one day you're going to pass the torch and somebody else is going to pick up the role that you filled. And you know, I think that if you go into making a system and building it with the idea that, you know, one day someone else is going to have this to then build on, I think that that's where you get some of the best roleplay, because it really kind of lets you let loose. So it's, you know, it's all about, it just goes to show that roleplay is all about mindset, and it's all about having that mindset and, like, you know, opening yourself up to that. So it's just neat how everybody's process kind of always comes back to some certain core values.
Yeah, I want to touch on the fact that like when we're talking about getting into powerful positions, and sometimes it goes to people's head, right? Because a lot of people see it as, oh my God, he's the marshal or he's the sheriff or head doctor or something like that. Well, they don't understand. Like they try so hard, they want to get promoted, they want to rush up the ladder of the ranks and everything, and then they get to the top, and then they fucking realize how much fucking work you have to put in it, like. The amount of work that you have to put in it, not just in character, but out of character as well, is just mind-blowing. I don't think people understand how much time it actually takes from people's everyday life, not just in character, to get this into, make this thing happen, see the fruition of it.
1,000%. I mean, I'm a police officer in real life. Like that's what I do for a living. That's what I've done for over a decade now. It's something that I that's how I feed my child. That's how I take care of my family and pay my bills. And there are times, as stupid as this sounds, and as this isn't a brag, but this is what this is. It's even reckless to say, but there are times when I'm at work and we're just sitting around waiting on a call to come in or doing whatever we're doing. If we're having a slow night, that I'm checking my phone. I'm trying my very best to stay up to date with what's taking place in this role play community. And it's
that's dedication,
it's sad,
brother.
Well, it's sad to say it like that, but it's important because like
you can't say it's sad, bro, because a lot of us we do that as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, look, it is what it be, man. I hate to break it to you, but it is sad, but it's necessary. There are thousands of people in this community that have signed up for it, and they deserve to have a community that they can enjoy, that they can dedicate some time to, and that when they come home from whatever workplace they have or whatever real life issues they're facing, we have something to kind of unwind. And there are a few people that just kind of have to bite the bullet and suck it up. And I find myself in one of those positions. So yeah, it's a lot of work, and the person that comes after me, it's going to be a lot of work for them too.
Mm.
But it won't rewarding. Be as much building,
right? No,
and it is rewarding.
It is very rewarding because you get to see like other people having fun. You yourself get to have fun. And your work matters. It's something that you can be proud of.
And you'll be
remembered. Part of a lot of stories.
You'll be remembered as one of the OGs, one of the people that built it up. Like again, not to sit here and I think what's the term, jerk Benny off or something like that. But like you see Benny on Huckabee, right? He did so much stuff on Huckabee, and what did he get for it? 2 weeks ago, boom, a statue in game of him erected, for all his dedication and what he did for not just the community, but the in-game characters as well. Stuff like that. Like one day, we'll have something dedicated to Hillary, if he does a good job with running the government, you know what I mean?
But, if he doesn't fall flat, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes with everybody, all the people that role play the sheriffs and the undersheriffs and the head marshals and the deputy chief marshals. There are people like Fletcher LeChamp, who was the deputy chief U.S. Marshal, Coates chief marshal. Harvey Glass was one of the sheriffs. Kimber, one of the sheriffs. Max Marshall and Clem and friggin' Wesso, man. These people work so unbelievably hard on a regular basis.
The sheriff down there? He's been there forever.
Thank God, man. He's a real lifesaver there, and he is a phenomenal role player.
He's Bird 2.0, man. New Bird.
Oh, man.
Bird.
But like, there's so many really dedicated people, and I can't name them all. They know who they are, but there's so many dedicated people that play in this community and they're helping me on a daily basis make this work. And man, is it so rewarding to see it all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you want to? Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to know what makes you drawn to the government role play. Why that?
I was gonna ask the same question. Why do you do this?
Oh, okay.
Why do you do this? Why
choose that?
I don't know. I guess I'm a sad little nerd. No, I don't know. I mean, I think that government role play is often a niche. Like it's easy to be, it's easy to be a bad guy. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's fun to be a bad guy, and a lot of people want to be a bad guy, and it's fun to be a lawman, and a lot of people want to be a lawman. But sometimes it's like, well, it's not that fun to be a lawyer or a chief justice, but those people are still just as necessary to the stories. So, I guess I like building things that are not the norm.
But what's your background?
Most people want to.
What's your background?
So mostly my background comes from text-based servers.
That's where all the good players come from. I swear to God, all the good role players, all the best role players come from text-based RPG.
The best role players you will ever meet either started on text-based roleplay or D&D 3.5.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, like they all start there. So I'm a firm believer of that. That's a quantifiable fact.
Yeah,
I've never met a bad role player.
I played on a server
way.
called Los Santos Roleplay, which was a SAMP server, and then I played on GTA World, which is a GTA 5 server, text-based. But those are the two main servers that I played on that kind of were modern day or whatever roleplay. I did a lot of Arma Milsim and stuff like that. So that's the background. Is just pretending to be a character is fun, man.
But do you think that you playing someone who's building up a government and Frank Cortland as well, you think that has anything to do with your real life job? You've been doing that for over a decade now. Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah. Since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to be a lawman. So I guess that it made sense for my career to go that way. I guess I like it so much that I do it in my free time, which is, I guess, super, super sad. But I don't know. Like I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping people, as cliche as that sounds. But and then when I have my free time, I find that role play enjoyable. RPing old crotchety lawman or an old cranky judge it's just fun. It's good role play. It's fun. I have a good time doing it.
Oh, all right.
And the time period adds that whole fantastical element to it. Like that's the best part, is that I think that even if you do something in real, because that's the thing, I love to do the marketing thing and make posters and little infographics. That's what I do for my job, is design emails and send out little charts and go, look at this, it's nice and you want to look at it, but at the same time I love doing it in the game. It's just doing it in a different time period or fantastical aspect and getting to apply that knowledge in a different way. It really is. It's like you said, it's something that it's weirdly engaging, and it engages your sort of logical brain that you have to use in your job in a very creative way, and it makes it
1000%.
really fun.
Well, you take Garfield,
so I totally get that.
You take Garfield, for example. That guy is a real life law student. He's working his way into becoming.
Yeah, he's insane.
Right. That's what he does. That's what he does in his real life, and he's a phenomenal asset in game. He's really, a lot of people gave me a lot of credit for the DOJ and the health of the judiciary, but
it's Garfield.
It's Garfield.
It's absolutely Garfield.
Garfield has laid so much foundation and done so much of the groundwork and been such a supporting asset behind the scenes, and he doesn't get any credit for that.
Don't give it. He's British. Don't give it to him. Don't give him any
right. He doesn't deserve any credit because of being British. But he does do remarkable work, and that's what he does in real life. He's training to be a lawyer or a barrister, however the British system works. But that's what he does. So I think it says a lot that if you do something in real life, you're passionate about it, then doing it in a video game kind of makes you a little bit that much better at it.
Yeah.
Yep. If Huck got a statue, Garfield deserves to have the fucking street in front of the courthouse named after him.
Right.
It deserves to be Garfield
For
Avenue.
certain.
Like,
For certain.
like
I want to ask. So we've talked. We've already been going on for 40 minutes about all these things, right? We haven't even touched. What do you do? What do you do? What do you go around doing in games? Do you go bossing the marshals around, telling Garfield, "Pipe down, you British bastard," or what do you do?
So right now, I haven't really been doing too much in game. We've been meeting with Ford Love quite a lot. We're trying to put out fires on the IC front concerning some cool native role play, and what Ellery's trying to do is establish some good communication between the native tribes, both in Wapiti and in New Austin with the Comanche. What we're also trying to do is kind of work out this New Austin thing, with the town marshals that are down there, and the violence that the state has seen here recently. That encompasses a lot of my role play. But what has really taken up the most time since I got governor was and is the law reforms that just got announced today. That has taken pretty much every waking moment in character and out of character. And now that they're done, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to start having a little bit more to do with politics and a little less to do with trying to reorganize the way law works.
All right. Go ahead.
No, so some of the stuff that we have planned for the future is me and the cabinet. We want to get together. We've been working with Fort Love a lot on this. We want to create a rehabilitation program. We think that there are a lot of players out there that started as crims and were like, well, I've had a character for a long time. He has a criminal record, but at the same time, like I don't want to give up on my character. But I would kind of like to try to venture into more legal side of role play. And what we're doing is we're working in creating a pardon system, a rehabilitation system that will allow criminal characters to kind of change their avenues a little bit, change that role play from a bank robbing, murdering psycho to maybe a little bit of a less of a bank robbing, murdering psycho. What we're also doing is we're establishing, hopefully, in the coming days, a state legislature and an assembly.
So, I know we have a lot of Americans in here, but we also have Eurotrash like me. Legislature, I don't know what that means. What was the other word you used? Assembly, state assembly.
Yep.
Yes, words that I know, of course, what they mean. But there might be other Europeans out there that don't know what that means. So let's just go ahead and explain that to them. But I'll let you do
Parliament.
that.
So a parliament. That's what I'm trying to create, but on a smaller scale. So you look at the British Parliament, or you have to forgive me. I'm a dumb American. I don't know any other parliamentary system at all. So please forgive me. But we'll take the British Parliament, for instance. So British Parliament sits on a national scale, but they're a legislative body. That's what their job is. They make and amend and handle laws and budgets and all that. And that's what I'm trying to do on the state level, is I want to allow individuals to vote for people that live and work and role play in their communities, to come together in kind of a group to make law, to change laws, to work on budgets and have cool events and stuff like that. So that's something that I'll be working on in the coming days. Hopefully we'll have that up and running by the start of the new year. But that's just a handful of things that I'm working on.
What about now? So I've been the mayor of Valentine for God knows how long now. Isaac Huckabee, God rest his soul. Maybe,
when did Huck die?
It's
May something, May 20th.
Half a year ago, something like that, yeah. But this has all been through RP, right? This was the people of Valentine that wanted, me to become the mayor. I thought they were joking, and it happened. And technically, in the beginning, it was just an RP status. It wasn't really anything OOC or anything. And I know the Strawberry has also now elected a mayor. Is this something?
Annisburg as well. Annisburg as well. Yep.
Annisburg as well. There we go.
The fuck?
I did not know. I did not hear of this.
No shit.
Two other mayors have been elected.
The Hinklemans now are. There is a Hinkleman is the mayor of Annisburg, and not only that, but that individual and those individuals in Annisburg deserve a special shout out. They took that town from a miserable RP dead.
Oh yes.
To an actual sincere role play kind of oasis. It has
the last 2 months
launched.
The last 2 months, the last 2 months of Annisburg, I've enjoyed it. There's been a lot of war, quote unquote, going on up there, but the amount of people that have shown love to Annisburg, man, it's great to see.
I just want to take 2 seconds. No, you're good. I just want to take 2 seconds because that just blew my mind, and I want to acknowledge the fact that anybody out there that thinks that LFM is like organizing how roleplay moves or who's where or who's doing what, I have no idea what's happening. I am so dug into the work that we're doing that I'm finding out people are mayor for the first time, and I'm going, what? That's awesome. I love that the roleplay has gotten to that point where those things are just developing and they're just happening.
The coolest thing about that is that I and nobody from our cabinet, nobody from the government had any hand in that whatsoever. The people of Annisburg came together and they voted.
As it should be.
They voted to establish a government for their local community by themselves. And not only that, they had over 60 individuals vote in their elections. 60 people voted.
I mean, it's not 200. It's not 200. But
well, no, it's not. It's not 200. It's not 400. But it is 60 individuals for a small mining town. Where,
I get it.
2 weeks prior to this, 3 weeks prior to this, the role play there had largely been just criminals going up there and
starting war, going to war,
going to war with one another. Yeah. But they turned it into a community, and they did it all on their own.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not just see I tuned in on Coach Bert's stream the other day. Shout out to Button down there and Coach Bert. I tuned in their stream, and I see like 25 people gathered in the saloon down there, and I think the title was like, "We're voting for a mayor down there as well."
Certainly did. What? Mayor Buttons is now the mayor. Buttons,
what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
And again, they came together and did that all on their own. Mayor Buttons is the mayor. He has established a council to help him. It has been remarkable. The people of Armadillo have come together. They said, okay, there's stuff that's happening in character. We don't necessarily like it. We want a representative. We want a voice. And they put it together. And Ellery met with Buttons in the Armadillo Saloon a few nights back. Kind of recognized Mayor Buttons as the official mayor of Armadillo. Yeah. And that role play will be moving forward as well.
Oh, yeah. So, imagine that. Every town gets a fucking mayor, except for like St. Denis. St. Denis should have a mayor.
Absolutely tickles me. That's so funny. Mayor Buttons. That's so funny. It's so funny.
Well, that's the beauty of RP, man.
St. Denis is trying as well. We have Mr. DeLuca. That is trying to establish himself as maybe a mayoral candidate. There are some people that are on the docks that work closely with the rigatonis that are interested in throwing their weight around a little bit. I believe that there was a guy named Dirty Mike for a little while who made the porno magazines. Yeah, bro. He wanted to be involved in the San Denis stuff. So there is plenty of interest and political role play in the community.
I love it.
Whether that will serve as local or state assembly. But yeah, man.
But to get back, because as I said, from the initial first time a mayor got elected, and now we got mayors in all these towns. But this has all been done through RP. There's been no scripting, script-wise when you log in, like when we did with Favor Schimmel. There's nothing from LFM. It's just like, is this something that we might see the governor come with an official statement and out and saying all the officially elected mayor, or is he going to force a re-election, or?
I'm sorry, one more time with the question. I apologize.
So all the mayors, right? All the mayors, the Annisburg, the New Austin, Armadillo, Valentine, St. Denis is trying as well, Strawberry. These have all been elected through RP, purely through RP, right? Yep. There has been no LFM involvement. There has been no staff involvement. It's just purely done through RP. Is this something that the governor is going to like make an announcement saying that yes, you are all the official mayors? You know what I mean? Like you have been voted by the people.
So it is certainly possible that I might make an announcement. But to answer your question is yes, we are going to formally recognize these people as their positions.
So you formally recognize them. Yeah. Okay.
I have no intentions whatsoever of stopping the role play. I myself think that having a state assembly and an actual group of people that can make and amend laws is better than having local mayors. But it is important for people, if they want local mayors and they want people to kind of serve in that respect and be that they can do that. And they need to know, and hopefully through this podcast and through my role play, they'll know I support you 100%. I'll never, ever do anything to stop you guys from setting up your local elections. I don't think LFM will either. And we recognize you. So, the people in Strawberry did it. They were the first to actually have a city council and
excuse me,
do all that.
Excuse me.
Well, for an actual election, they were the first to have an actual election.
What do you mean actual election?
Yeah, didn't Isaac appoint you?
No, I went around. Isaac gave me a book, said, all right, I need you to go around, gather everybody's full name.
Shit.
Their date, signatures, telegram number, so I can verify with them. So it
looks like I stand corrected. Looks like Mayor Rainier was the crown champion of being the first
he was elected
to serve as an elected mayor.
He was elected.
So I guess Strawberry will have to take second place on that respect.
Yeah, Strawberry.
But I just, the point being, Strawberry's done it. Armadillo has done it. I had an individual that is interested in maybe doing it in Blackwater. People are trying to get that started up. Saint Denis is trying. Annisburg has done it. There are plenty of people that are interested in political role play and interested in having a voice in both the community at large and their local smaller communities. So looking forward to getting the state assembly up and running. And hopefully we'll have that done by January 1st.
So to get a little bit more serious now, I don't really care about who was the first mayor, who had the first.
Yeah, you do.
No, but what I want to know is, because the whole point of the podcast is to create transparency, right, and to show people how we can further RP, right. So I think one of my questions is, and I think some of the other people that play as a mayor or want to be a mayor is, can we? I already know the answer because I've already worked with you in game, but is there a way for a mayor, local elected mayor, to go in, and if they want some changes happen, to go and get in contact with the mayor, the mayor to get in contact with the governor, and hopefully get him to help facilitate this? 1,000%.
1,000%. My goal here is to build up the government on a state level, but at the same time, I will never, ever stifle anybody's role play on a local level. If you have the want to be a mayor versus a state assemblyman, and that's what you want to do, I will never stop you. And if you want to make changes or do cool things within reason, I'm down to help you in whatever way I can. So I don't want people to think that it's a useless role just for a title. Because it isn't. It's important for individuals to have a sense of community. Mm-hmm. So any help that I can offer in that respect, I certainly will do so.
All right, sounds great.
Same from LFM. Like, we'll help people. You got a story you want to tell, and you got a role, you got a way you want it to be useful, we can figure out how to help you. Like,
Yeah, because
definitely.
that was
Yeah.
personally that was my biggest issue, because as I said, I wasn't even the one that wanted to run for mayor. It's all the people in Valentine back then just saying, I thought they were joking, saying, hey, we need you to become the mayor. And my hardest part was figuring out, what do I do? What can I do? Because I know there's no script. There's no me signing in, doing /law and clocking in. There is I don't have any power at all. And I was like, what do I do? What can I do? What can I say? What am I allowed to do? And I think that's probably one of the things that the mayors and future mayors are thinking as well. Like, what can I do within limits, without being unreasonable? And that's probably also something that Benny can talk about as well.
Yeah. So what this is me being biased because I want people to be a part of the state legislature. So the state legislature is going to be responsible for proposing new laws and changing existing laws. So if the individuals don't like the fact that you can be arrested for brandishing, or if they don't like the fact that, there's this town ordinance and blah blah blah, and this is just it's infringing upon my rights, or if they don't like the fact that the sheriff's offices and this area act this way or do this thing, then I would encourage individuals to come and become a part of the state legislature. You'll have a genuine hand in crafting new legislation. You'll have a genuine hand in amending existing legislation. You'll have a genuine hand in running the state through an in-character perspective. However, local mayors have a more intimate relationship with their community. For instance, the mayor of Saint Denis would work very closely with the Saint Denis Police Department in making sure that those individuals have what they need, that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Local mayors and people like that will be more responsible for community events, or can be more responsible for community events on a smaller scale, such as, let's say, Strawberry wants to host a horse race or something like that. That would be more of a mayor thing to set that up, if there is a mayor in those towns. But as far as having like a legitimate hand in lawmaking, that's not really what the mayor is about. That would be more of a state assembly job.
Not so much lawmaking, but like where does the line go? Because I know, like, for again, I'm going to use myself as an example here, because I don't know how they run it in Strawberry or Armadillo or Annisburg. Right, I've been told at one point by you yourself, the governor, saying, I need you to go to Valentine and talk to the sheriff's office and give me a full rundown of how's the office running, how's NHSO running, and then give me a detailed run back of the meeting, more like that. How can you facilitate a mayor in a town as the governor, or feel like you're being useful and not just holding events?
So I think that it just depends on where you are and what you're trying to do. When Mayor Rainier was told that, we had 3 separate sheriff's offices, each having their own command structure and the way they do things. And having a mayor in Valentine allowed us to have an individual that could communicate with the New Hanover Sheriff's Office on a more personal level, get a good report on what's taking place, and have a hand in making sure that changes. As the law reforms take place over the remainder of the year, we're going to try, spoiler alert, to go to a single sheriff's office for everything except Saint Denis Police Department. So everything except the city will be under one sheriff's office, and then the marshal service will have their roles as well. So
is there going to be a local sheriff then?
So there's going to be one sheriff for all the areas, but there will be town captains. There'll be town captains and things like that are on a more community level basis. But the mayors will be able to communicate with those individuals.
Okay,
the mayors will be able to set up a meeting with the sheriff himself and say, "Oh, hey, look, I need more people here." Yeah. This is one of those things where during this time of day, there's one lawman and there's all kinds of trouble here. I need more help, and they'll be able to take a more hands-on approach in their community like that. Also, like you did in Armadillo with the town council, and the way Strawberry and Annisburg are doing with their town councils. You can, as a mayor, create town ordinances. So, for instance, in Blackwater, unless you have a permit, you can't have a long arm. That's been the thing for Blackwater for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Maybe in, I think, one of the town ordinances that was created by Mayor Rainier and the council in Valentine was you had to stable your horse if you were going to be in town after a certain period of time, or for longer than a certain period of time.
Back then, it was because with the server reset, it was 2 p.m. EST. Between 2 p.m. EST and I think it was 8 p.m. EST. Between those 6 hours, if you're going to be around in town for more than 5-10 minutes, let's say you're coming into town, you're going to stay for half an hour, play some poker and hang around the saloon, go stable your horse. Instead of we having 20 horses down the fucking street and kicking people left, right, and center.
Just kicking the shit out of people. Right. And, there's other things like, the speed in town. Don't fucking speed in town. Somebody walks out of the Armadillo Saloon or the Valentine Saloon and gets smoked by a sprinting horse. That pisses people off. It hurts them, and then they got to go and they got to role play medical, and then they got to do all that. And it's just irritating. So the local mayors will have a bigger hand in that stuff than the state assembly would.
All right. Are we ever going to have an election? Are we gonna have a government election? Is because as it is right now, staff kind of appointed you with you as the governor. But are we going to see in the future Ellery running for his second term, or?
Well, I don't know if Ellery will run for a second term. I don't know that will happen.
But we're going to have an election.
But we are going to have an election, and that is kind of the big announcement here, or one of the big announcements here is that after I get everything set up, I will either step down and allow kind of the next person that wants to do this to step up and do it, or I might try to run again for election. But I can't promise that. But I can promise that we are aiming for elections. That is certainly my hope. And not only for governor, it is my hope, and I think LFM agrees with me, at least I hope they do, that I want to see the sheriff of the Monroe Sheriff's Office elected. I want the community to have a hand in who represents them, not in just government, but in law and in all these other places as well. Now, LFM and administration and server management are always going to have a hand in who is able to run. It's necessary for server health to make sure that we have individuals that are qualified that can do this, to do it. But it is important for the community to be able to choose between qualified candidates on who will hold these offices. And that's governor, that's state assemblyman, that's hopefully the sheriff. That's all of it. So that's my hope.
I want to ask you then.
We'll get that done.
With that, I want to ask you another question. What would you say? I know that you got elected by staff, but if you were to run for governor, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be running for governor. There's going to be a lot of criminals who's going to be running for governor. How would you? What would be some good advice for you to say? All right, have a good platform set up. Have a good catchphrase like "take that shit down the roads" or like what. You know what I mean? Like
my biggest advice is to take it seriously. It's fun to be a fun character, and it's fun to have those Dirty Mike and all that, and the porno thing, and that's fun. That's funny. People like it. It's a good attention grabber. But understand that if you're going to run for this position, and understand that if you're going to run for sheriff, and if you're going to run for these places, that you need to take it fucking seriously. Yeah. Because you will have an enormous impact on hundreds of people's daily life and role play in this game. And if you're just doing it because you think it's a fun little look, with the greatest respect, fuck yourself. Not for you. Okay. This is not for you. You need to take it seriously. You need to do your research. You need to get a foot in the door and start taking things seriously. Communicate with your local community, communicate across the map, run a really good campaign, have some really good ideas. But My biggest advice is to take it seriously.
Exactly.
We don't need a bunch of gimmicky characters and stuff like that as governor.
No, because at the end of the day, it's based because it's a game, right? And a lot of people at the end of the day treat it like a game. So a lot of these are going to be a popularity contest, not so much who's actually best for it all the time. And I could see in the future, someone with not so serious a character, but who's just a very popular character get elected, and then they spend like 2 weeks on it, and they just fuck around, get nothing done, and then
Right.
All right, we need you out. As
Right.
you said,
You're just wasting everybody else's time.
Yeah,
And I understand. Hi, it's great, it's fun,
Yeah.
and I love it for you, but we need somebody that's going to be in this position for longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we need somebody that's going to be able to build on the foundation that was laid for them and actually make it work. And if that's beyond you or whomever, I would recommend not participating, not running. Not to say that being a mayor is any less important, but become a mayor. Your town can kick you out if they don't like you.
Yeah.
It's harder for the server to kick somebody out if it's not working.
Yeah.
So
And I think
you go ahead.
No, you finish your sentence and then I'll pop in.
I just think that it's the people that hold the sheriff position of the Monroe Sheriff's Office when it's established, the people that hold the position of chief marshal, the people that hold the position of the Saint Denis police chief, governor, and even the state legislature, the chief justice. These are individuals that need to be serious characters, and they need to take their roles seriously and not just use this as a fun little off the shoot 15 minutes worth of role play.
All right. What were we gonna say, Benny? You gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that taking it seriously is a big part of it. Making sure that your character is kind of geared toward that thought process, and you were just. I just kind of was going to reinforce that and say that it's a big part of shaping the government is realizing that it's a serious role and that there's a little bit of OOC work kind of tied to it.
A little bit.
And that some of your role play is going to be I have to log on and go to this meeting because
don't undersell it, bro.
Happens.
Don't undersell it, man. There's a lot of OOC.
A significant
work,
portion of your time will be spent OOC working with and closely with legal faction management to ensure the health of the server.
Yeah.
And if that is something that you do not personally want to do, I respect that. But this isn't the position for you.
And that's what I was saying earlier today as well, like early on the podcast, that at the end of the day, there is going to be people will get into, they'll chase this powerful position. They want to get into this powerful position. Once they get there, they realize how much work it actually is, including OOC work. And so you got to be ready for that, man. You got to be fucking ready. Because if you're not, you're going to be hit by such a big fucking wall of information that you're going to go, what the fuck have I been why did I even want to do this in the beginning? So yeah, no. I'm gonna open up now. Okay, I'm probably gonna. We're not done yet, but I'm gonna open up for questions now. Okay, I'm gonna open up. So if anyone in the chat now has any questions regarding anything, the Absolute was sitting there waiting with the finger on the fucking enter button. I know it. What are some of the changes you hope on implementing before Ellery passes?
Well, before Ezra Hayes kills Donovan Ellery, what I'm hopeful is that what we'll do is we'll establish a foundation. I want to maintain the good work that we've done in the DOJ. We have active judges. We have dedicated individuals. David Walton, which plays Sanford, who's a judge. We have Jacob Burton, who plays as a judge. John Garfield is the Chief Justice. We have Arthur Longstreet back on as a judge. We have other individuals that are helping out. Dean Lynn as a magistrate. We want to maintain the good work that we've done there. But at the same time, we want to lay a foundation for the cabinet. We don't want to go overboard with the cabinet, but we also want to have a cabinet. We've gotten that established with the Attorney General and the other individuals. And what I want to achieve most of all is to get the state legislature up and running, and to make sure the Saint Denis Police Department and the Monroe Sheriff's Office are set and working. That's what I want to accomplish before I give up the role or die off.
Or die off. I got one here from Loke Rue. What positions will there be in the criminal reform system? I'm not sure what the question is. You probably understand
I don't know what positions you're looking for. The Attorney General's office is going to create a scheme that will both allow me as governor to pardon certain criminals that have a criminal record, allowing them to move into more legitimate forms of role play.
But are they going to have I think he's asking, is there going to be like a, let's say you're doing community service or you're being reformed? Are they going to be like a, what's it called in English? Like a bail officer, someone you have to meet up with, like on a weekly basis?
I really haven't thought that deep in it. And if people are interested in those roles, if they're interested
probation
in saying,
officer, yes.
Yeah. So if I haven't really thought that deep into it, but if individuals want to kind of play that role, I'm not opposed to it at all. I have to focus right now on the Monroe Sheriff's Office and the Saint Denis Police Department as it concerns law. But I think that in the future, if we can establish a group of individuals that's what they do, they want to make sure and that people are kind of following their probation conditions and bail conditions and stuff like that, I'm all for that. I want to create more civilian role play. I want to create more legal role play. I have nothing against criminal role play. I love it, but it's not really my thing. That's not my job. There are other wonderful people that do that. I want to try to create more legitimate avenues of legal role play. So yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Could that be from an LFM point of view, Benny? Like I'm just spitballing here. The probational officer, someone going like getting hired for that through LFM.
That would probably start off just with the rank of deputy, and like kind of we could do like a test of that and see like assigning that out. I think too that could be a really interesting, like a subdivision kind of thing. I think that could maybe even potentially be a fun job for like marshals to do, to have like a probationary marshal kind of person with you,
or ASAC have it. In CDD, and then someone needs to get out of Sisika early, halftime, good behavior.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. I know they do a lot of rehabilitation down there in Saint Denis, and I'm gonna pause for a moment and say to Saint Denis and the Saint Denis Police Department that they have really taken what was an idea for us and was kind of a love child really for a long time, and was like something that we really wanted to see flourish. And the right people got, and it's an example of, especially with the changes that are coming with the sheriff's office, of how if you put the right people in the right places, same with Ellery and like the governor. If you put the right people in the right places, it'll work. And and I think that SDPD is proof of that. I think Ellery and the government is proof of that. That like if you put the right people in the right places, it ends up working really, really well. I think that getting probationary officers and things like that is something similar to like mayors. If the role play is there and there's a need for it, then it's got to happen, and we'll find a way to make it happen. Sometimes it just happens of its own volition. It's mayors just happened in the same way that there could be deputies that are just like, you know what, I really want to work with this person, and I want to make sure that, I'm checking in with them and I'm touching base and that they have what they need. And you never know that ends up becoming somebody's role play. So, and then they, get 2 or 3 other people who get involved with that. And then you have a team that does it, and then it becomes a habit.
But the reason why I'm asking,
the Saint Denis Police Department to do probation as well, because they already handle corrections. So yeah, that's not a bad
give it to asset.
But
the reason why I was asking about like from an LFM point of view is also because a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a fair amount of people will struggle to look past what's available through scripts. Right? I could be a rancher because the script allows. I can be a llama because the script allows. It's very hard for a fair few amount of people to think outside of a box and create RP from something that's not scriptable, right? So if we could like already put it out there that this is something that is available, I think that people will then come toward. We might get an influx of people in the beginning to say a lot of people are very interested in it, and then maybe only 5, but at least we got 5 then. But I want to go here from Absolute Ezra Hayes. So it goes here. Ezra worked for his father in his law office when he was younger, mostly doing clerical work. So this is why he's been so passionate about Monroe's law and justice while being on the opposing side of it all. We've both seen serious HUT charges dropped due to lack of evidence. OOC and IC, I personally want to see the Constitution, laws, and evidence be utilized and heavily relied on by law. I know that evidence is hard to come by mechanically, and the criminals, myself included, need to do more by leaving behind details, but do you have any plans for improving this part of the legal system? I personally would love to be arrested because law has piles of evidence against me, but sometimes it can feel like a lot of arrests are rumor or fear-based and not evidence-based.
Correct. So 1,000%. To answer your question, 1,000%. Not only are we in the government going to, as soon as I get this new legislative body open, and that announcement should be coming within the next day or two, I am hopeful that I will have a state assembly elected and in place by December 18th, 19th, or 20th. And then the first session will be set in January. One of the first priorities for that new legislative body will be to redesign and rewrite our Constitution in character. I want to have a genuine debate. I want to have genuine thought, and I want to have a genuine document written to where the people of our state and our OOC community know their rights, not just from a U.S. standpoint, but from a state of Monroe standpoint, where they can kind of be involved in it. And so that'll be priority number one for the state assembly. The second thing is we are outlining a brand new sheriff's office, and we have a brand new police department. And in that brand new police department, we have some of the finest examples of leadership that we have in law. And in this new Monroe Sheriff's Office, we will also have some of the finest examples of leadership in law. And those two groups will come together to outline a brand new training system along with LFM. So the training structure for all of law will be revitalized, revamped, and put into place. So even if you are an experienced lawman, you're likely going to have to experience some sort or portion of the training program. That training program is going to be focused a little less on, I say the nonsense behind, we got to get negotiating this and how this works, blah, blah, blah. We're going to show you the patrol routes. What we're interested in is, hey, do you actually know the laws that you're enforcing? Do you know what evidence you need to make these laws stick when you make an arrest? Can you provision properly for a patrol? Can you take care of your animals, camp out, survive in the wilderness? So there's a brand new training procedure coming for all law. And there's also a brand new constitution coming for the community.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Absolute. Fine, we'll go after Ellery.
Seemed like
get
it
that
did.
done
He
first.
seemed very happy with it.
Complete this in game. All right, we got another one here. I didn't write it down who it's from because I've just been copy pasting onto a notepad here. I know LFM is somewhat of a council overseeing the legal side of RP. That being said, is there anything the community as a whole can do to help make your jobs behind the scenes easier? Bird, you can chime in as well if you're in the chat.
I'll let Benny and Bird take lead on that one.
So here's the thing. A lot of people think that it is this kind of council and like that we are this sort of invisible Illuminati-ish type group. We're really not. We are, it's very, we put forward a document, we discuss it, we have a lot of editing go back and forth. We try and get a lot of hands and we have a lot of internal discussion, and we have people from all across the server that are on staff, that aren't on staff, that see it just from a player's perspective, that see it from a staff perspective, that are long-term staff that have been here for just a short time. So there's people from all walks. We pick people that are, varying opinions and have all of that. But it's the best thing that I can say is that for anybody who's like, what can we do? How can we make it better? Is that when we put something out, give it the chance to breathe, give it the chance to marinate, to really think on it, to really look over the plan, read documents that we put out. If we put out a document and say, hey, this is important, you should read this, it's because it's important, you should read that and you should understand it. And if you don't understand it, you should ask questions about it. so that way we can clarify anything that's not understood. Like, I mean, really, the best things that I can say is, read what's handed to you and have a flexible attitude. But that, I think, is a lot of what role play is. You read the rules and then you flexibly play the game and you go around and you interact with different people. So it's as far as what people can do to make it easier, the things that you would already do in role play to begin with. Be flexible, read the stuff that's handed to you, and work with us.
Also, be involved. Be involved. If there's something that you don't like, understand that just because you don't like it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. First of all. Second of all, it doesn't necessarily mean that it can change right away. But if you don't like something, telling people that you don't like something and being constructive about it and telling us why you don't like something and tell us how we can make it better. Don't be a problem person. Don't come to us and say, "Oh my God, this is trash, fix it." But come to us and say, "Hey, I don't like this. This is maybe another way it could be handled. Have you thought about it this way?" That is so important to have a community involved in the decisions made, in my opinion.
Which is true. And that's why we put out the survey. We want opinions. We want feedback. We never want it to feel like we are, lauding over these decisions and going, this is the way it is because we have said it shall be this way. Because that's not going to make anything last. It's not going to build anything that anybody's going to want to build on top of. So it's, I think that it's be involved, be a part of things, be a part of the role play, and make sure that at the end of the day you're reading and you're taking in what's being said and you're giving it a chance to see how it affects you and your character and how it might make your role play change. From what I've seen, the changes are well thought out and are not changed just for the sake of change. Thanks, that's appreciated. I spend a lot of nights where I fall asleep in my chair typing into a Google document. So
yeah, really, he does. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words that everybody has said about me and to me. But just so y'all guys know, Benny and Bird, they spend friggin' oh man, it's a lot of work.
Let's just. When's the last time, Benny? When's the last time you had a whole night of RP?
A whole night? It's been about probably 2.5, 3 weeks now since I had like a whole night of just like, this is like 5 or 6 hours where I'm just role playing.
Yeah, what about Benny? Bird. I mean, what about Bird? When's the last time you had a whole night of RP as well? Where you didn't, not often? Yeah, like these
not
guys.
Often. Yeah. And the thing is that's not to say like anything. We volunteered for it, right? Like this is something I want to do because I like the administration of it. I like the figuring out the rule set, and I've got a ton of role. It's fun for me. But it's just always I think and Dottie said it best in here too. It's remember that we're human, and that this is something we do because it's fun. And so if you see something and you're like, God, I really hate that change, and that's really terrible, and I don't like it. Ruminate on that, sit on it, think on it, write it out, figure out why, and then come to us with it. Don't ever just bring a problem. If ever, and that's just an age-old piece of wisdom that I should give to anybody that's listening right now. If you bring a problem to somebody, also come equipped with a solution or an idea for a solution, because nobody ever just wants to hear, this is the problem that I'm having, now you fix it. Yeah. It's much better if you can go, hey, this is the problem that I'm having, what can we do to potentially fix it?
1,000%.
Yes, exactly. I think me and Benny were talking about it the other day as well, or was the last podcast? Don't come in with 1% of an idea. Bring in, and say, I would like this changed. Tell us how. To give us more than 1% of the idea. Help us, help us, help staff in general, not just LFM. Anyone, if you have an idea, bring the majority of the idea. Don't just say, I have an idea, you guys do the rest, okay? And you sit there and just hope for them to bring it to life. And next question is, I'd like to hear more about the relationship and responsibilities between you as Marshal Service and the SO? I don't know what SO is.
Sheriff's Office.
Sheriff's Office.
I can I can sum this up in 2 good sentences, or really in a singular word: supplementary. The USMS is going to have its own duties and its own things that it can do, but they're also going to act as support, and it's going to be a supplementary kind of like role. They're going to be a smaller team, much more focused, much more driven, and I think that's going to help kind of, because that's really the big thing right now, is that in looking at all the departments and the reshaping of the department and how we're doing that, a lot of it came down to where are responsibilities being shared and how can we divvy that up a little bit to make sure that everybody, isn't stepping on each other's toes. Because that's going to make a huge difference in how those 2 departments work together. So to kind of answer that question, it's to help supplement each other where they need that, and to help each other out in the places where they might be weak.
All right. Yep. Two long, short sentences.
I said one word and then I expanded upon that word. So,
next question: what can we tease about the Sisika reform for roleplay and such things like that? Could we perhaps see chain gangs and other stuff that could add good roleplay to help get time off, but also provide great roleplay?
1,000%.
Chain gangs are there, aren't they? I think chain gangs are in the newest, or in the SDPD. They're in the book, The Way They Do Things. That would be an Ozza question and a Will Wilkinson question, honestly.
Yeah.
That would be a get them on here and ask them that question, because they've got more of a hand in that than we would as LFM.
We'll have them. We'll have Azag and Wilkinson on for a 2024 podcast.
They would be a good one. They would be a good February. Yeah. Put them on for February for Valentine's Day, because they're the cutest little couple on Ranch.
Next question. I would love to see some collaboration with civilians and businesses. Example: governor needing to take the train and the train needs heavily guarded. Well, nothing's stopping you in game from making that happening. You know what I mean?
So it's funny that you say that, because Donovan has reached out to the company in game, I think it's Monroe Logistics, where I have stated that I will, not only am I interested in having them as kind of like the official, at least Eastern train company, I'm interested in them putting together an entire transport company. And part of that was a proposal that they were to draw up, where they will have a stagecoach, and that they will work with the mining companies in Annisburg and stuff like that. And part of that was transporting the governor. Another cool thing that I thought might be a little interesting was to transport prisoners from quote unquote out of state into state as kind of an events type thing.
100%. That's and I'm part of the event team as well. So that's definitely something that could be done 100%. 100%.
That could be a very very fun event, to like get a bunch of people to play like lifers that are being transferred to Sisika from out of state, and it's like a big train of criminals, and just like for 2 or 3 months post out all these stories about who these people are, and like how that could be really neat. Maybe even bring in some... You can
introduce, like, if people are interested in coming in as a character, like a bad guy or whatever.
Having a little bit of a history with them.
Yeah, that's something. That's a way they could be introduced to the state. Is maybe, I was on a prisoner transport train that was, derailed or whatever, and was attacked, and a bunch of inmates were let go. So there's a bunch of stuff in the works. It is my goal to not only have a transport company, but to utilize them for my personal transport and for cabinet transport and other things like that. So 1,000% plan on encouraging civilian businesses, and 1,000% plan on using civilian businesses.
Yes. I want to point out that the idea of the lifers, by the way, being transferred is basically we just described Wild West Con Air.
That's correct.
Which I'm dating myself a little bit with that reference, but that's basically what we just said. Is what if we had a Nicolas Cage movie in the server? So
right, yeah. What's the
Alright,
server without a good Nicolas Cage?
This one's for you, Ellery. Ellery always seems to be busy. What does he enjoy doing on his downtime? Any non-government duck hunting? Yep, duck hunting. We can't shoot for shit.
Can't shoot for shit. So the joke for those of you that don't get it is that Donovan does like to hunt. At least I pretend like he does. I'm always trying to duck hunt, but I can't hit a fucking duck to save my life because I hunt with a double barrel shotgun. That's what, like in real life, you hunt bird with a shotgun. That's what you do. So that's what I'm trying to do. But I can hit a duck out of the midair with a single bullet from a revolver. But the minute you put a shotgun in Donovan's hand, he can't hit shit. He can't hit a fucking duck, whether it's flying, whether it's sitting on the top of the water, or nothing. And I get made fun of it mercilessly from all the lawmen and people that are supposed to have my back. They just fucking ridicule me constantly. But no, Donovan likes hunting. He likes riding his horse. I'd like to give me a cool little carriage. But he likes hanging out with people that he genuinely finds interesting and talking with individuals.
Getting heart attacks. That's also one of your hobbies.
Yep. I've had two of those. Everybody always gets very worried, which makes me feel very special. No, like for instance, Dottie is very close with Ellery in game. Sloan very close with Ellery in game. People like Charlie Lynn close with Ellery in game. The Glasses, both Shu and Harvey, Jeb, all these people, all these individuals, Garfield and me. I enjoy talking with them, just having a genuine conversation. It's always fun. Me and Javier have a lot of back and forth. I enjoy role playing with him. Me and Frank Campbell have a lot of back and forth. I always enjoy my conversations with Frank Campbell. He's actually probably responsible for at least one of the 2 heart attacks that I've had. But, that's what I like to do for fun.
Like to get
I want to point out too that your statement about you not shooting a duck is such a prevalent item that in the jurisdiction form when we were putting that out, Duke Derringer had some of my favorite responses. And in one of which he asked a series of questions, one of which was, how handsome is Bird really? Does Marceline stuff melons inside of her shirt? And the final question to the whole set was, will Ellery ever hit a duck? And I just remember
1000% never. Well, I will never be able to hit a fucking duck.
He it's just really punctual, really important questions he was asking. So
right, he's asking what everyone wants to know. But no, that's the fact, man. Is I on a consistent basis try to go and hunt ducks, but I have never ever fucking shot one with a shotgun like I want to. Like it just is not happened, and the lawmen are quite frankly mean about it. There's no support. It's just ridicule.
All right, I'm sorry for that, man.
Yeah, there was such a pause there. Quite frankly, well, they're mean about it.
Right.
Yeah, a duck statue, a statue of Ellery holding a duck and a double barrel shotgun. Let's go.
Yeah, that's gonna be the statue. He'll replace the horse in the center of Saint Denis.
We got one last question here before we'll do the giveaway. This one's for conspiracy. Sam Devlin, Marshal Sam Devlin. Now that the town marshals are no more, and with the law changes coming, will enforcing the law in the territory of New Austin be a part of the day-to-day of the marshals' SOPs?
So, if I might just point out something really quickly, and I'm not gonna, again, this is a positive time and a positive podcast. I want people to know that we, at least I, do not want the town marshal program to die out completely. But I want it to be done right. New Austin has consistently been, both in the way people behave in game and by design from server management, is meant to be more of a lawless, dangerous area. In that spirit, I think that, and as an individual who role-played Frank Cortland and still role-plays Frank Cortland, town marshals need to be more of an edgy group of people. There needs to be few of them, and it's not it's not a matter of covering all time zones out there. At least not to me. Maybe I'm dead wrong, but that's how I view. It's a matter of having 1, 2, maybe 3 people out there that can provide good story to those criminal characters and the civilians out there. So I don't think town marshals are done. I just think that we need to work on making sure that it isn't something where we pile a buttload of lawmen out there who have never been to New Austin to just kind of choke out the roleplay that exists in New Austin. That's my point of view.
All right. I don't know if Benny wants to chime in that from LFM point of view.
I just realized that I had my microphone muted because I was eating peanut butter M&Ms. But
did I not answer the question? I'm sorry, maybe I didn't.
No, you did. You did. I think that's much kind of the same way as we just want whatever anything gets done. We want it to be done right. We want it to be done really metered. We want it to be done structured and transparently so that there's not any surprise, because law is one of those things that it's such a big faction and there's so many people involved that, you do one thing and it just shakes it all up. And I think the goal of LFM and, anything we do is to make sure that if we shake things up, it's for a good reason and that it's as transparent as focused as possible so that nobody's surprised by it. Because the surprise is what makes everybody go, well, I thought we were doing X and now we're doing Y. And then it throws the whole situation off. So with town marshals, I think that it was a good idea in concept. I just think the execution wasn't necessarily what it needed to be as effective as it could have been. And I think that in the future, when we do kind of get back to that day where, there is more of a marshal patrol down there in New Austin and kind of living that life and being part of that sort of lawless atmosphere, I think that it'll be a little more focused and centered, and that's the important part.
But to answer, I think, more of the specific question, the conspiracy is clarified. I don't think that there's anything stopping the marshals from going down there and enforcing the laws.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Now, even with the new law reforms, the marshals are still going to be largely responsible for that area and what takes place in that area. Furthermore, there is a line of role play, whether it will happen or not. I've kind of, Ellery has gone to the people of New Austin and said, if you want to be a part of this state assembly type thing, and you want to have a say in the laws that, you have to follow, then it might be necessary for you to become an official part of the state of Monroe. Whether New Austin stays a territory or whether it becomes an official county or province of Monroe, it will always remain more lawless than everywhere else. That's just by the design of it. That's the way the server administration and management wants to keep it. But yeah, as it stands, marshals can go down there and enforce laws.
Yeah.
Just want to do a quick public service announcement.
It
You guys can keep talking about it. If some people aren't reading what I am typing out in the chat, if you want to enter the giveaway for Prio, gift code for Prio on Ranch Roleplay, you got to type in the keyword duck, 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 and at the end of the podcast, I will draw the winner.
This is bullying.
Guess who picked out the word? Yeah. So, yes, this is weird. Question to LFM. Is there an update on Guarma's re-implementation?
No. There's not. I wish that I could say more to you than that, but I'm going to be completely honest to you. There's a lot of talk and a lot of what ifs, but the biggest thing that will always be a problem with Guarma, and that will always be a thing that we have to think about as from a roleplay perspective, is there's one way in and one way out. And until we can really fix that and make it so that it's more engaging to come in and around and have multiple ways in and off the island and make it,
Which Golden
balanced.
is working on. Golden is working on.
Yeah, which Golden is absolutely working on. It is, something it's in the pocket. Until we can really get that solidified, there's not really a purpose that will benefit roleplay other than, it's a place you can go and run until the one teleport is guarded and then you're stuck there. It's not really a fun situation for either parties when people get stuck on Guarma. It's kind of it becomes a cat and a mouse situation at that point.
All right. So far 34 people have entered the giveaway for Prowl and Ranch Roleplay. How you win it is I'm gonna in 1 minute I'm going to roll the button. Click the button that says roll it, and then you will DM me on Discord, and I'll set you guys up with the giveaway. But for now, I want to do a big shout out right now to both Benny for stepping in on short notice because Dip couldn't make it today. I know everybody's out there is being so sad about Dip not being here. You all want to come see Dip and not me or anyone else. I know, ha ha ha. But yes, Dip couldn't be here, so Benny. I asked Benny, and he stepped in. Which
thanks for
really
having
want to say
me.
thank you so much for that. And Ellery as well. Thank you so much for applying, because this essentially everyone can apply for being on the podcast. It is not just I don't sit here and pick out DM people to say, hey, I did that in the beginning. Yes, I'm gonna admit, because we gotta get the ball rolling. But there is actually a website. I don't have the link. I can't get the link right now. Maybe Shally can help. You guys can apply and come on the podcast. We are booked up for the rest of 2023. But we do have spots open in 2024. Next week, same time, same place on this channel at 3 p.m. EST. I think it's gonna be 5 p.m. EST next one, because we're gonna have Oaks on it. Oaks is gonna show you guys the daily life of an admin. How, why, and what we do. And let's say you guys open up a report ticket and you guys do something. You guys don't understand why an admin is asking the questions they're asking, well, how we come to a verdict, the verdict we came to. Oaks is going to run you guys through the day of an admin, and you guys can question. Oaks. Why does an admin do this, or why does an admin not do that? And he'll explain it, guys, to you. That's on December 3rd, 5 p.m. EST. And then on December 10th, we're going to have character creation, where we're going to have, it's going to be Pesky and Porter. We're going to have them on and see how you create a character from the beginning and role play it out and see where the world takes you, and see how they are, where they've ended up now, how they got to where they are. On December 17th, my wife's birthday. Probably, maybe I won't be here. We're gonna have mapping / world creation on here. And then on December 30th, we're gonna have management end of the year, where we're going to we're gonna have thank you for sticking out with us for 2023. Hope to see you guys in 2024. But yes, the link is now in chat. That's the Google Docs. Go ahead, click that, apply. If you want to be on the podcast, as I said, no subject is too small. No, I'm gonna go ahead and ask now, Ellery. You were a little bit, not insecure. That's no word. Nervous about if we had enough stuff to talk about. We've been going for an hour 45 minutes. Do you? And as I told you, we could still keep going.
Yeah, we haven't scratched the surface of the plans, but we've done good work, and I was real nervous. Because, you don't want to show up and be like, oh, my God, we're going to be 15, 20 minutes into this, and we're not going to have anything to talk about. Mm-hmm. Take it from me. That's not how it's going to work for you all. So if you have something that you want to get out there, you want to represent for the community, and you want to speak about, please apply. Since the time that I applied, Rainier here, Jisk, I don't know how to pronounce. Yeah, just gaming.
All right.
I call my boy Rainier. That's who
Yeah,
I call.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He's Rainier. Rainier's been very helpful to me. Benny's been very helpful to me. The entire staff, Shali, has been helpful to me. So don't freak out. Just apply and come over here and say what you got to say.
And this is also the reason why I usually want two hosts and two people on it, because hey, we can keep these. Trust me, we will not stop. We have so much to talk about. There's plenty of things. We can keep the conversation going. Okay, so don't be scared that we're going to run out of a conversation. You might think it's a small subject, but hey, I can stretch that out, and Dip can stretch it out even longer. So with that said, all right, I'm going to now roll the winner of the giveaway for priority on Ranch Roleplay. All right, give me a countdown from 5, Ellery.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Bobby. Okay, all right. Well, all right. There we go. Rigged.
Fuck.
It was rigged. It was rigged. It was rigged.
I missed it again. I missed the fucking duck again, man.
You missed the duck again.
Not another duck. I love W chasing, says Bobby.
It's fucking funny because Bobby went hunting with me. I pulled him out of Siska and we went hunting for ducks. And he got to stand there and watch me just make a friggin' fool out of myself.
Bobby missed it, and he knows. With that said, again, I want to thank you, Ellery, for being here. Now I want to do you have any shout outs you want to do? Because I have some I want to do, and Benny probably has some as well. But mainly, do you have some shout outs you want to do to any people? Doesn't have to be government, but you know.
I'm just gonna be corny, but I'm grateful for every one of you. The people that I role play on a daily basis, the people that I've yet to role play with. I appreciate you for sitting here for almost 2 hours listening to me babble on.
I love.
I'm very grateful for the community. This is something that my job is really stressful, and sometimes family's hard, and I'm very grateful for the community and the opportunity I have to role play here. So I appreciate y'all.
All right, Benny, you got any shout outs?
Big shout out to you, Ellery. You do a lot. You're one of the unsung heroes. Big shout out to Garfield. Big shout out to the SDPD, Will Wilkinson, and Ozzy G, great friend. So glad to see him back in a great capacity and doing absolutely stellar. Big shout out to the admin team. You guys are a huge part of things that don't get thanked a lot, but you are such a vital part of things. And big shout out to Bird. You've been a help to my LFM team who supported me and helped and been such a big part of our success over the last few months. It's none of this is a one-man show, and it has been a lot of passion of love from a lot of people, and so big shout outs to all those that are involved, and a big shout out to Golden, who does a shit ton of work, as to Blau as well, who does a shit ton of work, and no matter how much they do, there's just another thing to do. So big shout out to all the unsung heroes of Ranch Roleplay.
100%. Yep. No. Again, I wanna thank everyone here. I want a big shout out and thank to everyone here watching it every week, coming by, watching the podcast, coming up with great questions, podcast after podcast after podcast. We got Ezra Hayes, Absolute, coming in every time with like real good questions, and I wanna thank you guys for always supporting it, coming in here, asking the question, just watching it, so it doesn't feel like we're all alone here and doing it for no one, because at the end of the day, we're doing it for all of you guys. We're trying to create some transparency here. I want to thank Shali as well. She works so goddamn hard with everything, and she always helps me out whenever I need it when it comes to the podcast. If I have any questions about what we're going to do on the podcast or who to bring on, making an itinerary or even the form for you guys applying for it. I want to do a massive shout out to my boy Douglas. He couldn't be here today, but I still think he should get some love because without him, there probably wouldn't even be a podcast. I want to, and when it comes out to it, I want to do a big shout out to Wilkinson and As a G for everything they've done with the Saint Denis police department. Everything I've heard about it has been nothing but great. Jess being I don't know if she's the secretary or she's the one that watches people come in the door and hears people just nagging. Desk sergeant. I think it is absolutely great. I love that they're walking around in the little blue uniforms and trying to talk to people. But yes, again, thank you guys so much for being here. This makes the whole experience of doing a podcast so much more enjoyable. Yeah.
Big shout out to Chi as well.
Oh,
big
yes.
shout out to
for
Chi.
real, yeah.
Always me, my Chi. Oh, big shout out to me, my Chi.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, now here comes the hardest part. I need you guys to help me out who we're gonna rate. Because I can't do that from here. I can't actually see who is currently streaming.
Oh, goodness. Hold on. I'll check. We've got Uncle Albert with Blaze Bradley. We've got Agent North. We've got Arno Fox Bushemin. We've got John Lyon. And we've got... That's it. Those are the 4.
So the ones we haven't hosted yet is Bully 2K on Arnold the Frenchman. This guy you've probably seen Rainier go ask him to sing songs all the time. And Agent North,
and he sings wonderfully.
Yes, those 2 are the players that we haven't hosted yet out of the people that have just been mentioned.
Let's take it to Arno this time, and let's hit Agent North next time.
All right. Can somebody link it to me? Because I can't. Again, if I go on Discord to find it, you guys are going to see Discord, not Benny's beautiful face.
Oh, goodness.
I just need his full name.
Boom, boom. And it's, oh, goodness.
That he was typing in chat. Otherwise, I can't actually do anything.
I'm a terrible human.
No,
that's
you're the best.
Right there.
Bully 2K. All right.
Bulito K.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So, again, next weekend, okay, we're going to postpone it a couple of hours because we're going to have Oaks on it. And Oaks is, as the majority of people know, he lives in Australia. So it's going to start 2 hours later, 5 p.m. EST, the day in the life of an admin, okay? I hope to see a lot of support there. Thank you again for being here for the podcast, man. Any last words? We got about 1 minute now. 1 minute before it just goes off automatically.
This is a surprisingly clean podcast. We did not swear a lot.
No,
I was just a bit shocked by that. I thought we would be swearing a lot more than we did, but it was very very civil, very, very nice.
Uh-oh. Fuck. There we go. I missed the reveal. The reveal was basically that we're gonna have a government election. We're gonna have a governor running for governor. There's going to be
people running for
and
governor.
sheriffs and sheriffs.
I am also totally corrupt. I'm very corrupt.
Oh yes, very, very corrupt.
Yeah, that's main big part of it. God, this I swear the 60 seconds that it takes to go from here to a raid is the longest 60 seconds of your life. This is like waiting for medicine at the pharmacy. That's what this is. This is like when you're standing in line at the pharmacy. You're just waiting and you're just like looking at the little thing tick down and like somebody has to take their ID out and then their insurance card. It's a whole it's just no, we'll not say it. This is also like when you say goodbye to your friends and then you go the same direction and you just have to keep walking the same direction.
In RP as well. I'll see you later. You both walk down to the telegram station or this is okay. All right.
Right.
10 seconds. 9.
All right.
8. Bye guys. See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. See ya. Bye bye.